Lil Jeff's killer has now spoken up after nearly a year of quiet, revealing what really happened that day and what the cameras missed.
I think I was like, damn, it's 6 out there, you know? It's crazy.
But here's something you probably didn't know. Trap City. Rob was only on business that day because someone alerted him, who specifically backdoored Lil Jeff. Then, was it a Bloodhound gang member? Why did the others do nothing but watch him get shot over and over again without ever shooting back? The killer's long confession eventually answers all of those questions and more. Okay, let's get going. In a startling development, Trap City Rob, Lil Jeff's alleged killer, expressed his opinions regarding in reality. It appears that Lil Jeff left Trap City Rob with no other option except to carry on running his company. In case you are not aware of the backstory, allow me to update you on Bloodhounds, June 8, 2024. Lil Jeff Q50 and another man were seen chasing a rival gang member in the heart of Trap City in security footage that was eventually released to the public. You can see Jeff and his pals waiting for their prey while holed up in a black SUV in the footage. Lil Jeff exited the car and started fighting as soon as he saw the target. When I observed Lil Jeff, dressed in gray Nike joggers and a black Nike sweatshirt, chasing his target directly onto the porch and shooting at the car that dropped off the target, I knew the Bloodhounds were rabid, quickly ducking for cover. The target, clad in bright yellow shorts, ran directly onto the porch of the next building ahead. Despite being struck once in the chest, he kept sprinting to save his life. Somehow, his friends decided not to go with him, instead standing by their vehicle and shooting at the vehicle that fell off the objective. Things start to become intriguing at this point. Little Jeff. When they arrived at the front porch, things took a sharp turn. Gunfire flooded the air as bullets started to pour out of the alley. Jeff was in danger, and his buddies couldn't help him. Since they were too far away, a flurry of gunfire could be heard from a different direction, and Lil Jeff's companions at the black SUV didn't seem to be running away or hiding from them. I believe that all of his pals were watching him get stewed over when these rounds were fired at him while he was on the ground. Recognizing that Lil Jeff had already been hit multiple times, he fired a few pointless shots toward the house. After that, they sprinted back to the black SUV and waited for an opportunity to pick up his body. Since the police placed numerous shell casings close to the door, indicating that Lil Jeff was stood over as soon as he positioned himself behind the big pillar, this viewpoint makes sense. Lil Jeff's buddies were unable to help him in the crossfire due to the ideal cover offered by the pillar in front of the porch. But it appears that the gunman jumped off the porch not long after. They lowered their weapons in dismay as I initially viewed the footage, thinking, damn, our big homie just got stood over in front of us. They quickly regained their composure and started shooting at him, but it was already too late. You could see Jeff collapse at the end of the video after he was shot in the chest almost 19 times. The man in the red jumpsuit, who is believed to be Q50, is seen limping back to the automobile after most likely taking a bullet to the foot. When I initially watched the video, I saw this, as a Reddit member confirmed. That was not the end of it. Before the police could arrive, Lil Jeff's companions rode back and picked him up after he was shot. After that, they took his limp body to the hospital, where it was pronounced dead. Since they did mention that the man was dropped off by his companions in a black SUV, another commenter noted that it matched. You can see the silver Jeep parked across from the black SUV. So everything makes sense based on my Google Maps search for the address where the hit happened. The incident was probably captured by this house's camera. If you move the map around a bit, you'll obtain the perfect look at the black SUV that was utilized as the escape vehicle. But Trap City Rob eventually revealed the hit in an interview, with block to block remaining calm and low-key. In addition to identifying him as the gunman, His confession offered an alternative account of the events, painting a perfect picture that the security film could not match. Lil Jeff's killer acknowledged that he saw 6 people chasing his homeboy.
Damn. Okay. So, is there anything about that case you want to clear up and just touch about, bro? Because I see you got a whole different perspective.
I see the videos. I see that shit. I was like, damn, it's 6 out there, you know? They was crazy, bro.
That's a completely different perspective. He was aware that there were 6 individuals present, but how? I guess Trap City made a mistake because the video that went viral online didn't show that many. Even yet, Rob didn't boast about the successful counterattack, claiming he was only taking the required safety measures to keep his hood safe. According to a rediscovered video, Trap City Rob is seen on the building's front porch, suggesting that this is the case. Lil Jeff was slain. In the interview with Block to Block, Rob relaxed and took in his surroundings. People started praising him as the Defensive Player of the Year, which is not surprising, considering that a fan realized right away that this guy was really like a troll in a cave that you didn't realize existed until it was too late. He kept it in place. Rob acknowledges that he was always on the front porch because he is acutely aware of his surroundings.
I'm conscious, bro, like, I'm in my environment, but I understand the overall, you know what I'm saying?
You could see Trap City. Rob and his pals Black and Terror are constantly looking to their left and right for any possible dangers during the same conversation. This is particularly true because beginners are not welcome in Chicago. Drill rap is a plot against black people to battle themselves, Rob said, revealing a peek of his critical mind. Young black people, regrettably, have fallen for the ploy, which is why they frequently run into one another at the slightest inconvenience.
Black man is very underdeveloped and undereducated in America, bro.
Ooh, not me?
No, just listen, bro. When it comes to emotional intelligence, reasoning, and people getting shot over shoes, and that's not being emotionally intelligent.
City Trap Rob's responses during the interview received a lot of positive feedback. A user commented, "Rob is what you call a grown man." Another user quickly followed, saying, "These guys are mature." Jeff was a young, immature kid running up on these OGs. Jeff didn't think before he reacted. That's what separates a grown man from a little boy. OGs have rules and don't move the way Jeff did, the reporter then reminded. The 3 of the viral Reddit image, which shows Robert's face photoshopped over Malcolm X's iconic image with the caption, "Protect the Trap." The post said that Rob should run for president with the assurance that he will avoid the political trap. City Rob then acknowledged that he has seen the Reddit meme but is not attempting to gain online influence. Rob is extremely smart and understands that boasting about the hit will only serve to prolong the cycle of violence in the city because every hood wants to slide for their fallen homie, which is fueling an endless hood war. This is evident in an earlier interview about Lil Jeff's lifestyle, where the rapping hitman revealed that he had been living on the streets since he turned 18.
So around what age did you jump off the porch and start hanging out in the streets?
I'm gonna say when I came outside for real, I was like 18 type.
Okay.
I just turned like 18.
But Bloodhound Lil Jeff admitted that he was familiar with the streets since an older sibling had told him about its brutality, violence, and way of life, even though he had jumped off the porch before his peers.
But I'm doing that. I've been seeing my whole life, you know what I'm saying? I told you I got an older brother. So this shit ain't nothing new for real. It's the same shit I've been seeing.
In case you didn't know, J Boogie is the name of Lil Jeff's older brother. It's interesting to note that gangsters like J Boogie were the ones who started the feud between Drill City and Trap City, which killed young street boys like Lil Jeff. It's also important to note that these 2 men were friendly in the past, as shown in the YouTube video interview that Block to Block did about Trap City Rob. Rob confirmed that the 2 hoods were cool. until the bloodhound grabbed their friend's chain. And then things went south.
I used to hang with them. They know what they did.
So, okay.
They know what they did.
So, okay, the bloodhounds, y'all was cool.
Everybody that got a that was my homie. He stole the chain, bro. We tried like he took it. He stole my homie chain.
Again, though, if you look closely, you'll see that the reason for the beef, at least for Bloodhound Jeff, goes much deeper than Rob claimed. Let me tell you how the death of his cousin Zoni affected Lil Jeff's early development. After Jugi was charged and imprisoned, Z-Money, Lil Jeff's cousin, took over and started playing the role of his older brother, giving him the spotlight, while serving as a background director. But Lil Jeff and the entire Bloodhound gang would be in one of the most devastating losses that would put an end to the street alliances between trap and drill cities. Zoni was assassinated on March 16, 2023, according to news reports. Z-Money was in his car on the 1300 block of East 79th Street, near the 79th intersection in Kimbark, when a car approached him in the neighborhood and began shooting at him. He was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he tragically died. The death of the Bloodhounds was especially sad for Lil Jeff, who had benefited from Zoni's protection since his brother was imprisoned after the murder, and he and his right-hand man, Q50, would later get tattoos of Zoni's name on their bodies as a tribute to their fallen hero. However, just as things were beginning to settle down, rumors began to circulate on Reddit about who killed Zoni, claiming that Zoni had been backdoored by his old friends at Trap City. Based on the rumors on the street, Lil Jeff was restless and bloodthirsty, so he went hunting soon after. On April 9, 2023, the D-Day, Jeff and the Bloodhounds had decided that Lil Pooh would not see him again the following summer. But instead of simply rolling up on him and spraying him, Lil Jeff waited for him outside. While he was aware that his name was being whispered on the street, Lil Jeff was never one to rush and always gave his targets time to lower their defenses while planning how to attack. When Lil Pooh arrived home to rest his head, Lil Jeff sent him to eternal rest. According to CPD, shots were heard at the 1800 block of 223rd Street at about 11:30 p.m. And when they arrived, they found the victim, who was later identified as Pierre Boozer Jr., unconscious in his front yard. He was shot multiple times until he died, but no one reported the hit to the police, but the street knew who the main suspects were. Shortly after that, Lil Jeff wanted to send a clear message, so he dissed Lil Pooh and Ann when Lil Pooh's flip side homie posted his picture. Lil Jeff sent a message saying that he had dissed Z. An unreleased song implied that he had waited outside his house and gotten him. Now that Lil Pooh is gone, you know that it never takes too long for him to come home. He is raped. Bloodhounding is acceptable, but disdain for money is not. Lil Jeff did not just slide for Zoni and withdraw into his shell. He had tasted blood and was craving more shortly after. One of the most well-known incidents Lil Jeff pursued was the killing of BKN. On surveillance footage, Lil Rob and BKN Monty were seen casually strolling as they left the Innovations High School in the Loop neighborhood of downtown Chicago for lunch at around 12:30 p.m. Despite the busyness of the area, two cars pulled over as soon as Lil Rob and Monty arrived, and some armed men got out and started shooting, killing the BKN boys. A dark-colored SUV pulled up from underneath the train tracks, and one person got out of the car, approached the boy in a rage, and opened fire on them. According to CPD Deputy Chief John, two cars pulled up and fired multiple shots at a group of teenage boys who were heading toward the elevator structure, completely unaware of the terror that lay ahead. Even though the surveillance footage showed only one vehicle pulled up for the hit, the shooter quickly returned to the vehicle and fled towards Wabash and South, then turned left on Madison and fled.
When two cars pulled up and a group of individuals exited said vehicles, fired multiple times, striking two of the teenage students of Innovations High School. These individuals were taken to Northwestern Hospital where they succumbed to their injuries.
Muhammad Ashik. A local businessman said the gunshots sounded like firecrackers and that witnesses heard between 10 and 15 rounds before the shooters fled the scene.
Like a firecracker, like something like a firecracker, like a 10-15 shot. Boom, 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 boom.
It was a vicious attack, and the entire city was in mourning. Not the entire city. Because the mastermind of the attack would soon boast about the operation, and if the gunshot sounded like a firecracker, it means that at least one of the shooter's pistols probably had a switch that made explosive noises. He first went live on Instagram and started posting comments implying that he had just dropped 2 bodies, increasing his total number of killings.
If I get mad enough, will start happening. Y'all know this by now. I went for like a week and poof. Gotta go. After that one, poof. I came back, poof.
Since Lil Jeff was, many drill fans wondered why he was able to track down Lil Rob and Monty with such precision. Let me tell you why. Lil Rob and Monty were accused of stealing Lil Jeff's jewelry back in the day, and the boys would go online and complain about the heist and say the jewelry they had taken was fake.
Tell the op. You took
we got like 50K down. That fake AT they got.
According to Lil Jeff, who went live on Instagram when the news broke, Monty and Lil Rob boasted about the bounty price while showcasing 2 stolen watches, one of which was an ironic fake iced watch that was supposed to look like an authentic AP timepiece. Almost immediately after, a Reddit user pointed out that the iced out watch had the GLD logo on the clasp, which is an online jewelry retailer that specializes in plated jewelry or fake jewelry. The boys wanted to take a look and ran away when he wasn't looking.
On my dead grandmother's head, if I'm lying, I'm down. God could come pull me out this car right now. I never took a dollar from nothing. A nigga said, let me take a picture, this, that, and that. I look up, the nigga then ran down. We all the way at the top of the staircase first off.
Shortly after, Monty and a few BKN members made an appearance on a YouTuber called Word from the Trenches vlog, where they boasted about the operation and repeatedly showed off the watches they had stolen. Later, on the same vlog, Monty got a FaceTime call from Bloodhound Lil Jeff, and during the heated exchange, Monty asked him where the J was, which means where was that jewelry, and then proceeded to show off the watch he had stolen from him. All the BKN, the first suspect was identified as Tommy Coleman, a member of Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds, who was arrested on North Mason's 5700 block and charged with 2 counts of murder. The Chicago Police Department reached a major milestone in their investigation and began making arrests almost a year after the incident. Lil Jeff doesn't tolerate disrespect, and the boys in that vlog disrespected him and trolled the entire Bloodhound. Earlier this year, a second suspect was revealed to be 20-year-old James Allison, also known as J-Mo Bloodhound. Before his tragic death, rumors circulated that Lil Jeff was next in line, so it was not shocking when news broke that Rob had killed Lil Jeff. One fan jokes he killed Lil Rob. Now he got shot by Big Rob. The obvious answer to gang violence is death. But why did Reddit post Lil Jeff's body on Trap City? Rob. After Lil Jeff's death, the city of Chicago was taken aback by a surge of trolling on Reddit, with the Hood allegedly being the one who sent Lil Jeff back to, as expected, the Chicago Drill Culture Analysis subreddit. Churicology promptly identified the murderer and asserted that Trap City was the shooter, a move his creator made to defend their own. Primarily because Trap City Rob, or I Trapped Rob, was been arrested several times at the house where the gunfire that killed Lil Jeff was fired. Though some were, while some were studying the video to identify the faces of the guys Lil Jeff was on the drill with. Others were taunting Q50, who denied any involvement. After fans identified the man in the red jumpsuit as Q50,
Does it make it worse when there's like videos and people reacting to it? And they're trying to say you slipped and fell, and you saying I wasn't even there, right?
I wasn't even there. Stop saying I was done.
even though Q50 may deny anything he wants. The street is hardly wrong in the same way. In a shocking turn of events, it was found that Lil Jeff had previously pursued Trap City Glenn after he was caught slipping at a store and fired 15 shots at him. Nevertheless, Glenn always survived a Lil Jeff ambush, and a resurfaced video shows Lil Jeff discussing the time he chased down Glenn at the store, confirming the rumors on the street.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Too bad his ass died. He get to see y'all. I'm glad though, he can see y'all talk about him all day.
One fan said, "Damn, that has to be blessed FR." After Glenn escaped 15 gunshots that could have killed him, Trap City Rob, whose real name was Robert Coleman, was arrested in connection with the homicide, according to police documents. Despite his denial of the body, authorities believe they had probable cause to arrest Trap City Rob because a witness identified and located him at the crime scene where the shooting took place. However, Lil Jeff was adamant about killing Glenn and was not going to give up after a trial, so he went out again. The surveillance officers saw Trap City Rob entering and leaving his apartment on S. Rhodes Avenue with a black firearm. It is significant to note that the surveillance officers were aware that Trap City Rob was a convicted felon and gun offender, who was not permitted to possess a firearm at any time. According to the report, when the police officer tried to take Trap City Rob into custody, Rob pulled away and refused to comply with verbal commands, using dead weight to stiffen his body and making it difficult for the officer to handcuff him. According to the document, Rob's actions had consequences. After being assigned to the squad duty, Coleman was taken away. At this point, Trap City, a black loaded pistol, slid from Rob's thighs during the battle between Rob and the cop, requiring the officer to use control techniques, including escort holds and emergency takedowns, to get the arrestee in custody. Rob also allegedly resisted arrest until another surveillance officer intervened and applied the cuffs, causing damage to his right wrist. Rob's arrest in Trap City sparked a number of reactions and growing controversies on Reddit, including the following. "I am not familiar with Illinois self-defense laws. But it is crazy to me that anybody would be found in possession of a gun and be a convicted felon." In a shocking turn of events, an investigation into Trap City sent him straight to 2nd District Prison because of his behavior and manner on the scene. The murder charge against him was dropped because Rob's involvement in the murder did not prove that he was the shooter. But the gun charge would remain because he was found in possession of a firearm and was a convicted felon. Was he charged with murder in this case because they continued shooting him? There's no self-defense for overkill. Probably a couple shots, but not 19, a different user commented. One Reddit member, though, was concerned about dismissing Rob's firearms accusation. Free as for that armed habitual, he proved that day why he made it a habit. Read the comment. As the discussion centered on whether or not Lil Jeff's killer acted in self-defense. Additionally, the vast majority of fans share this opinion, which is why Trap City Rob was it's almost as if the matter was settled on Reddit before CPD started their investigation. Thus, they deserve praise for carrying on with business as usual following the incident. One important point, though, is if the gunman is still at large, if the police dropped the murder charge against Trap City Rob. Who might that be? I want to share a Reddit user's statement with you. Rob can't pull it. The real shooter is probably hiding and won't come out to confess, so we will never know.